what is the reality behind the curtains?
You know, people don't talk about this stuff. And I think a lot of people in the industry are like, how's that person surviving? You know, there's actors that have like kids. Like, how are you feeding your kids when you're not acting on set?
And today we have an actress.
I'm very privileged to be working on a lot of projects recently.
My next guest has already appeared on the BBC, and she's just appeared on a new film called The Rise of the Foot Soldier. We want to find out all about her journey and all about the acting industry. So welcome, Melly Myers.
And a lot of actors, even the most successful actors and actresses, have this problem. It's really hard. There's been times when I'm on set and I'm like, got this is me. And then there's days when I'm like, I feel anxious and nervous and I'm like, what's wrong with me?
Welcome back to Take a Seat. I always promise you that I'll get the best guests on. And today we have an actress. But before I tell you all about her, I want to make sure you do something for us. And that's smash the subscribe button, guys. It really, really does help us. My next guest has already appeared on the BBC, and she's just appeared on a new film called The Rise of the Foot Soldier. We want to find out all about her journey and all about the acting industry. So welcome, Melly Myers.
Thank you.
How are you?
Yes, I'm good, thank you.
Looking very beautiful.
Oh, thank you. I try.
Jeez. So talk to me a little bit about your outfit today.
You know what? This morning I didn't know what to wear because, as you know, UK weather is up and down all the time.
All 4 seasons.
Yeah, and I feel like today was quite adaptable because it started spitting outside, and I thought, okay, well, if I was in a dress, I could potentially get cold and really drenched, but you know, jeans and a top, you can't really go wrong. So I feel like I've been a bit smart today with the outfit.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I think us men, it's easy. It's like whack a shirt on if it's something smart, or a t-shirt, little blazer, and that's it. We're good. But women, they have to think so much about their look.
Oh my God, it's actually a myth being a woman. There's literally so much thought that goes into everything, from, you know, hair, makeup, shoes.
And things come in and out of fashion. 1 minute I'm seeing the pencil eyebrows, then I'm seeing the bushy ones.
Yeah.
And then I think I saw one of the girls from, what's that singing band? Not Sugar Bass, the latest singing band. One of the girls just recently left. I think they won the X Factor.
Little Mix,
that's it.
Yeah.
You've got it on point. And then one of the girls, first of all, I don't think it was just after lockdown or something, she was judging a show on BBC, and she had the eyebrows like combed.
I think it's called brow lamination. Where it looks kind of bushy.
Yeah,
like,
and it was like that, and I was like, oh, what is she doing? And then everyone was doing it. It was like, oh shit, that's a thing now. Like, that's come in. Like, who would have thought? Because I come from the days where you got, like, you know, the thinner the better.
So
how do you keep up to date with fashion and who's doing what, and how not to be like almost judged? Because we do get judged a lot.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, this whole brow lamination thing, it's not really for me. I mean, I can appreciate that it looks good on other people, but it's never really been for me at all. So even though it's a trend, I think you have to keep your originality. Like, even though there's always these trends, don't just be the sheep and follow. Like, you know, be authentic still. This thing, it's never really been for me. I think I've always liked to kind of keep everything very kind of refined and tidy in a way. So, but I've seen it on girls and it looks good. I mean, it's very kind of like edgy model look. You know, I think they're doing it on like the Rimmel models now. So it looks nice, but yeah, it's not really been my sort of thing.
How do you like keep yourself original and authentic, but still be keeping up with everybody else? Like, still be in the conversation, really? Because if they're like, hey, she's a bit old fashioned now, she's got the same look, or that's what it's all about, because she is the sheep, and this is what we can resonate with now because the media puts it on magazines and TV shows, so everyone's doing it. If you ain't got it, it's like, no, I don't notice that. She doesn't even know. Like, how do you keep authentic with balancing that?
I think personally, it's really important to try and reflect your personality in your style. And I mean, for me, I always stay authentic and true to myself through always wanting to be, I always try to kind of be bold. I mean, okay, a lot of people would say this is quite casual, but when I go out, I like to find things that not everyone has. I like to stand out and to try and be a little bit different. Or just find something that I've not seen someone else wear before. So I often like things with patterns or feathers or, and it's funny because my partner will call me a peacock because I'll have all these feathers and stuff like that, and it's a bit wild, but it stands out, and people often say, oh, that looks really nice. And, you know, and yeah, I think for me, it's an expression of who I am. I like to think that I'm quite bubbly and bold, and down to earth. And so I'll express that through what I wear. Cause yeah, I mean, I go through different phases of fashion. I'll wear, you know, something really kind of baggy with a belt with some mad Aztec patterns, or, you know, I'll come out looking like a Saw baby all in orange, or just something, you know, I'll change it up sometimes, or I'll be just really, you know, just all in black or whatever, but I like to change it up. And I think it's probably reflective of how I'm feeling that day as well.
Wow.
So I think that's how you can stay, like, just be true to yourself, really.
So if you know you've got like an event or a red carpet event coming up in the next 2 weeks, would you like prepare 3-4 outfits for that day and then see how you feel? Or would you actually just that morning open your wardrobe and say, I'm wearing that?
Oh my God, no. I mean, I could never do that. It's literally such a process. I think a lot of women would agree. It's such a headache. I'll always be trying to find something that's, I always want something that's got wow factor, whether it's, you know, encrusted in diamonds or sequins or bold colours, or it's got a really nice long trail. Yeah, it's always quite a process. Yeah, I would never be looking on the day. I'd fall over.
Melly, that comes with a certain sort of confidence with what you're telling me, because some people want to stand out, but they also want to blend in. You know, they're out on the red carpet and they're like, might be a little bit body conscious, and they're like, well, I can wear this, but yes, all eyes will be looking at me, but will they be looking at me in a good way or bad way? You know, I've seen certain people, well, I've been advised, they go, oh, the next red carpet event you do, Sean, put some funky glasses on. And I'm like, why? And they go, because then you'll be that guy. You'll be noticed for being that guy. Even if it's good, bad, ugly, you'll be in the conversation because like the guy with the wacky like sunglasses. And to me, I was like, actually, do you know what? Now I understand it, why some people do certain things. And like, you'll see somebody come in with like a wacky dress and you're like, that is so silly. But then actually, hang on, I'm talking about it now.
Yeah, exactly. You're making an impact on someone. I mean, I can't say that I would ever pull out a Lady Gaga outfit and be dressed in meat. I mean, that was obviously, as far as I know, I don't know a lot behind the message, but I'm sure it's quite political, whatever she was doing. Maybe it was, maybe it wasn't, but I wouldn't go to that sort of extreme. But yeah, I mean, to be honest, it's one of those things where, yeah, you might wear something that you might not feel comfortable in, but it's really important to kind of push past that, like get out of your comfort zone, I think. It's like for a lot of people that, you know, have gone through the journey of losing weight, you know, there's things that they would have never worn before that they're wearing now, and it makes them feel amazing. But I think it's all a mindset thing, you know, with everything. Like, even if you don't feel confident wearing it, just go for it anyway. Like, you know, just do it anyway, you know. It's like, what's her name? I think it's Mel Robbins. Is it Mel Robbins? She always says, if you don't want to do something, just do it anyway. Yeah. You know, just do it anyway, because it's good to have that mindset of just not always being comfortable all the time.
Yeah.
So,
because it's funny that, because when you see, I've got this house on rent in this lovely place, I've got this car, I've got this, I've got that, etc. That's all in this bubble called comfort.
Yeah.
And everything that you want is out of that bubble.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because it's like, I want that house. Well, that house is out of your comfort zone. So you need to get out of your comfort zone to go and reach it, right?
Yeah, yeah.
You know? Where do you like aspire to sort of be? Like, you know, you're obviously in your career right now and you're doing a few things, and we're going to go through your journey, but where is that place that's out of your comfort zone right now where you'd like to say, well, I would like to eventually get there or do that or have that opportunity?
Yeah, so for me, the bigger picture is to just constantly be rolling on a massive US series, or, you know, even like your Jennifer Anistons or Angelina Jolie, you know, be in that constant role of feature films in the US.
Is there a
And
market for British girls out there?
I think there is, yeah, I think there is, because you look at people like what's her name? The girl that was in Harry Potter, Hermione Granger.
Hermione, yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember her name, but she's done really well,
Yes.
and Jason Statham's done really well. Like a lot
Really
of
good.
yeah, so a lot of British actors have done well, and I think there is a big opening for it, because I can't actually think. I mean, there's probably a few, but there's not. I don't think there's enough. And you go over there, and the response is incredible. I mean, they absolutely love Brits. They're very welcoming.
So have you been out there?
Yeah.
Where have you been?
So I've travelled a lot. So like years ago, I actually worked at a Girl Scout camp in Virginia near Washington. So I did this thing called like Camp America. So I did that, and basically you stay at a camp for like 2 months, and you're looking after a load of crazy American kids. And then after that, I went traveling. So I went from Virginia to New York to DC to LA to Grand Canyon, San Francisco. I've been to Florida when I was younger.
All over US.
Yeah, I've done loads of US, yeah.
People don't realise how big America is.
Yeah.
It's like 50 times bigger than the UK.
Yeah, it's crazy. There's so many different states.
And apart from the accents, what are the main differences with all the different places you've been in the US?
Yeah, I guess it's like there is quite a lot of different culture. It's like you go to New York and it's kind of like London. Everyone's got places to be. It's rush, rush, rush. It's that crazy city life.
Yeah.
But then you could go somewhere like maybe like Florida or LA, and it's a lot hotter. So the weather impacts how people feel and how they, you know, act. And it's more kind of like relaxed and chilled. But then you can go somewhere that's like New Orleans, and it's a totally different world where like the food they eat is different. The accent is so different. Like each state is like its own little world. It's like they're all very different to each other, definitely.
Wow. Like, you know, I always think of America, and I just don't want to spoil it. Like you said, like just go to New York and say, yeah, I've been to America, because you really haven't. That's like just coming to London. Do you know what I mean? Like fast pace, and people might be a little bit more rude because you just haven't got more time. But there's certain places where people are happier, like because the weather's better and they've got more time to chill, right?
Yeah.
Do you think the weather like affects your mood?
Oh my God, yeah. I mean, it's like in London, everyone's a lot happier. Like you go to the newsagents and like they're a bit more kind of chipper about life, and, you know, just things in general, you know, like when you go to a cafe, or if you barge into someone by accident, you know, everyone's got a smile on their face, you know, everyone's getting, you know, that good energy from the sun. People feel healthier for it. I mean, you know, obviously in the winter, you go to bed and it's dark, and you wake up and it's dark. You know, it has like an impact on people's mental health. And most people disappear into an office where they might not even see sunlight. There might not even be a window that pulls in any kind of daylight. So they're just like a hamster, really.
Yeah, for sure. I noticed you've got some really nice pair of glasses on.
Oh, thank you.
How important are material goods?
You know, it's funny because I am the sort of person that I am quite materialistic. Mm-hmm. I like nice things, but if you were to put me somewhere else, I wouldn't even care about those things. It's like, it's crazy because a long time ago, I was traveling through Thailand and Bali, and it had a massive impact on who I was as a person. Yes. And things like, you know, branded bags and shoes and sunglasses, it didn't matter. Like, all it mattered was just good vibes, good people, good food, just appreciating like this beautiful landscape and the fact that these people don't have a lot, but they have so much to give. And I was there, I was traveling like across Thailand, all the different islands in Thailand and Bali for a few months. And I was like, I could be a hippie. Like, I could actually live here. And that person in London is so different to the person that's here. Like, I don't care what I'm wearing. Like, I'm not here to show anyone, oh, this is what I have. And what I do for myself and what I wear, it's not really for anyone else. It is for me.
Yeah.
But it's just weird because when you're there, you kind of lose the ego. You do. It's like everyone's got a little bit of an ego, but when you're in those countries, you really do, like, you don't care about all this sort of stuff. Like, you could literally just go to the market and wear like a £2, I think they're called like harem trousers and a baggy vest, and just be living off of coconuts and pad thai and nothing else matters.
Oh, pad thai, mate.
Yeah.
Love that. You know what I mean? For £2, you're like yamming it down, mate.
Yeah, yeah. It's like you really appreciate the finer things in life. You're like, nothing else matters. Like, when you're in places like that, you're not binge watching TV. You know, you don't really care about anything else. It's just like
experiencing. Yeah,
you're just living in the moment.
Wonderful.
So,
how many countries have you been to? Because you've named quite a lot of states around America. You tell me, you know, Thailand, Bali, like these are quite like places that people want to go to, you know, because they're far out, different cultures, different, you know.
I've been to loads. I don't even know how many places. I've probably been to like over 30 different countries.
Beautiful. How important is traveling?
Traveling is so important. It really does educate you about the world. It teaches a lot.
You've told me about 2 different Mellys. There's one in London who's stylistic, ego, a little bit like in terms of I want to look a certain way, and then nothing matters.
Yeah,
like you wouldn't really have learnt that about yourself if you didn't travel, no?
Yeah, it's true. I mean, when I did go traveling, it really did, it just awoken something else out of me. It really does feed the soul. It really does. It really kind of puts a lot of things into perspective. And it's like I find that when I'm really sad or when I'm lost or when I need help making a decision on something, I'll go away and I'll come back a renewed person. It's like therapy. It's like you can go somewhere and they won't have a lot, but they'll be so grateful for what they have. And you're like, wow, like these guys don't have fresh water, or, you know, they don't have, you know, full plumbing to have a proper working toilet, or, you know, a proper sink in their kitchen that runs fresh water, or just the little things like this. And you just think, you take those things for granted every day. You know, it's like when I was in Thailand, I went to this, it was, I only just realised it, but this Thai family were running this restaurant out of their house.
Wow.
And you don't really realise it because it was all open.
Yeah.
But looked around, I was like, I'm actually in someone's house. Like, this is their garden or their porch, and they've just made it into their home, you know? And you think, wow, like this is their livelihood. Like nothing else matters, you know, just they thrive off of tourism and the money that they're making. And yeah, it's crazy. Like, yeah, traveling teaches you a lot about the things that you need to be more grateful for, and cultures as well.
Do you think we're spoiled here in the UK?
Oh my God, we're so spoiled. I mean, we don't realise how good we've got it. I mean, people complain about so many things, whether it be their job or the weather or politics, but then they don't realise that, okay, we're not always blessed with great weather, but what about all the tsunamis that happen in Vietnam and Thailand? Or what about all the crazy insects that could like kill you in your bed? I mean, you know what I mean? It's, you could tread on like a millipede that will just bite you and you're dead in an hour. It's just, you know, we get the worst is like a crappy daddy long legs, or you know what I mean? Or a little wood lice or something. I don't know. Like the insects here are nowhere near as bad. You know, the buildings we have, the jobs we have. You know, I was watching a documentary the other day, and there's people that are literally earning maybe £1.50 a month, and they're just selling apples on the street. And then sometimes people sit and complain about their wages and how hard life is, but you've still got enough money to go and have a bender at the pub on the weekend. Like, you've still got enough money for maybe just that one holiday a year. Or you might not be earning enough, but you might be going to Cornwall or somewhere. But you have freedom. These people don't have freedom. So you've got freedom of choice. So sometimes, I think it just puts things into perspective.
I think people make excuses in their head. They're capable of doing so much more, but it's easier just to make a excuse and say, no, I can't do it, or that's not for me, or that's for rich people, or you know what I mean? Like, it's just like the easy option out.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Rather than like you said, people do get to do things, like they've got choices to make. Do I go down the pub and spend my bloody wages, what I've just earned the whole bloody week, or shall I leave it in my bank account? Maybe I can make a business decision with that, or make a better choice in my life, or a better experience. Maybe I can save up for that holiday, and in 3 months' time I'll be on that plane if I sacrifice something. But it feels like people don't want to sacrifice these days. Would you agree?
I think in the UK, I think we're quite a self-entitled society, because we're so used to everything being served up, from education to everything. There's countries where you have to pay a lot for those things. I mean, one of the things which is so pivotal is healthcare. I mean, a lot of us might complain and say, oh, it's this and that and the wait's too long or whatever, but then there's people that can't or don't even have access to that. It's
reality.
It's crazy. And then you think, when I went to the US, I noticed there was a lot of poverty. Like, there is a lot of poverty in the US. There's actually a lot of people on the streets. And I thought, wow, like, you'll be in LA and you only really see that postcard picture perfect image. And you think, wow, like, there's a lot of people just really struggling here. You've got people on the streets. You've got, I don't know, it's quite a dark place at the same time. You've got, like, a lot of, like, prostitutes and it's like, this isn't the postcard picture perfect that people think LA is. And you're there and you're like, this is actually quite a dark place. Like, there's a lot of broken dreams here.
It's weird how the media just shows the good bits, don't they?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, things will, like, media, a lot of things will only show you what they want you to see. I mean, it's like anywhere, they're never going to show you the bad, because they want to obviously attract tourism and stuff, but it's crazy.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
So there's a few things that you're doing right now. I want to ask which bit do you enjoy? So you're an actress, you're a model, and you also do social media, really, and you're an influencer. Which is the aspects that you sort of enjoy or spend most of your time doing?
So I'd say the modelling stuff I don't really do as much now. I mean, sometimes I get opportunities and I don't turn them down. It's like I'm modelling at a boat show for a charity lunch in a couple of months' time.
Oh, nice.
So, if opportunities come, I don't say no. I mean, acting is my ultimate goal. It's my ultimate aspiration. The social media stuff kind of came as a hobby. I started that during first lockdown, and it was kind of just something to kill time and kind of built up a community during a time of a lot of uncertainty. There was a lot of, redundancies and furloughs, and it was like you couldn't leave the house. So kind of just connected with loads of people and just found a new world through social media. And it's so powerful as well now, social media.
Do you think you can express yourself more through social media? Like, show people your personality more?
You can, yeah. But a lot of people don't. It's kind of a facade. It's kind of like a smoke screen for a lot of people. I mean, for me, social media is kind of it's kind of a market. It's like an open marketplace. I kind of use it as a marketing tool. I do sometimes think I should probably be more authentic and be more me, and I'm hoping this is what people can get from this podcast, just to kind of see who I actually am. Because I kind of use my platform as kind of just a stage for things, really, whether it's to showcase brands I'm working with or to showcase what film projects I'm working on. so sometimes it's it's not really real because people don't really see the struggles in between and everything else that's happening behind closed doors. So
do you consume, or is it just there for a tool for you to produce?
To be honest, I would say that I do consume it as a way of networking, for sure. I do network a lot.
Well, that's how I found you, really.
Yeah,
do you know what
exactly.
I mean? How social media, you wouldn't be here. So it can be a little bit of a positive.
Yeah, definitely. I do learn things, and sometimes even when you just see, it's like Instagram are doing this thing now where, they'll do a lot of like suggested posts, and you'll see pictures from accounts that you're not following, and a lot of them, I like to follow a lot of like mindset and positive stuff, and you'll just get one of these random things flag up about be grateful for today because of this and that, or it will be some kind of words of wisdom, and sometimes you're like, oh, I needed that. It kind of just popped up, and it can really help
affirmations,
if you're having a hard time.
just to give you a little boost.
Yeah.
How important is that? Do you have any sort of resume that we all have high days and low days, and I suppose like it could probably feel really amazing on some days for you. You're on a set, Rise of Foot Soldier. What's the new one called? The Vengeance, is it? Or
yeah, The Vengeance. Yeah,
like you're getting your makeup done, hair done, take one, let's go on set, right, let's do that again, but you're having a bit of banter, etc. And then there'll be days where none of that's happening and no one's there. And there's no cameras. How are you feeling on them sort of days? Like, because you can hit a high and then it can be a real like, oh shit, what am I doing with myself?
Yeah, and this is what this is a topic that I really wish people would touch on more, because we all have dreams and aspirations, and we're all trying to get somewhere, and we all kind of put out of an image of our successes. But what a lot of people fail to talk about in the industry is the struggles in between, the times when you don't have work, or when you are just doing like a normal day job. People don't talk about this stuff, like, and I think a lot of people in the industry are like, how's that person surviving? Like, what is that person doing when they're not on set? Like, how are they finding that life balance? There's actors that have like kids. Like, how are you feeding your kids when you're not acting on set? Or how are you finding the time? You need a job that's flexible to enable you to go and pursue these things. And I feel like it's something that people need to talk about more, because I think it's not easy. It's like anything really, any kind of dream that you're chasing, you do have to make a lot of sacrifices to get there. But
people don't see that. People don't see the struggles and sacrifices. They think you've made it on the big screen. She's a millionaire now.
Yeah.
That's
they
the facade
see
people
a bit
have.
of success and they think, oh yeah, you're made now.
You've made it. But what is the reality behind the curtains?
Yeah, this is it. I mean, it's like what people don't realise, it's a constant hustle. It's a constant hustle. I mean, especially in the world of acting, you're constantly looking for your next job. I mean, if you land a series like a soap, you could be made up for maybe 2-3 years.
Would you do that?
Do you know what? I'd love to be on a soap.
Really?
Yeah, I would love to be on a soap.
EastEnders or Corrie?
Yeah, why not? Yeah, I've had a lot of people say EastEnders would be really like well suited for me. Like I would love to do a soap.
What sort of role would you play?
Do you know what? I would love to be. I wouldn't mind being like maybe Kat Slater's like long lost sister, or just one of them.
I was gonna say that. That was on the tip of my tongue. I was like, she might punch me. I don't want to get punched in a podcast.
Yeah, just one of those, like bold characters that just comes brawling through the Queen Vic and just starts mayhem. That would be pretty fun actually. But yeah, I'd love to be honest. I mean, it's funny though, because I've met a lot of people that have done soaps and they've had an incredible career. They've made amazing money. They've paid off their mortgage.
What is amazing money? Like, what do you know what a soap actor does get? Do you know what that looks like?
To be honest, I think you can get between, I guess it depends on how many like awards you get, but sometimes you can get, I think you can get between like maybe 2 to 3 grand a day. But it depends on how long you've been on that series for, how many awards you've got. So, I mean, this is what I've heard. It probably varies on different actors and different soaps. So I think, I mean, yeah, don't quote that on being accurate. But yeah, you can earn some really good money. I mean, series are the way to go because, you know, it's ever going, isn't it? So
some people say that once you get into soaps, that's it. You're stuck there now. You can't.
This is the scary thing. So for a lot of actors, it's amazing financially, but you've also got to be really careful that you don't get typecasted. Like, you can fall into the trap of, you might find it really hard to shake off that character. Like, and some people do struggle with that. I mean, you could be on a series for 2-3 years, come off that show, and then no one wants you because they're like, well, I can't really see you as anyone else. Or maybe it's imprinted on you so much, can you even play anyone else? You might be so comfortable in that role that have you just become that person, you know? Or some people do amazingly well where they'll do a project and it just blows them up. Like, they might have been on a series. Oh my God, was that my belly? I'm so sorry, my belly's rumbling. Oh my God.
Hopefully the mic didn't pick it up.
Oh my God, yeah, hopefully not. Oh my God, how embarrassing. Hopefully it doesn't start speaking for me for the rest of the podcast.
That would be a first.
It wants to say something. Oh my God, where was I? Yeah, that's it. So people will go on a soap, they'll get typecast, and sometimes though you could become a household name and then do a project like feature films and then just be made and do really well. But then sometimes, yeah, it's that trap of, say if you can't shake that person off, you know, you try and pursue other things and no one's interested, and then they end up going back to that show. So it's a risk, I think. But I think it also, I don't know really. Maybe I think it says a lot about you as an actor as well, though, because maybe that is all you can play. Like, maybe that character is all you can do. I don't know. I mean, I've met a lot of people that have done series and they're having a really successful career doing feature films and everything else. So, you know, it's not always the case for everyone, you know.
Who's some of the most famous people that you've met?
I'm trying to think now. So, for example, I don't know this person. I mean, I'll mention some people I do know, but this is a really good example of what I'm saying in terms of going on a series and just blowing it up. I can't remember her name, but there's this girl that was on Hollyoaks. She's this gorgeous mixed race girl with an afro, and I think she did a lot of storylines to do with like anorexia and suicide. She's now on Fast and Furious. She's been in a lot of them.
Okay.
And a lot of people will probably know who I'm talking about.
Yeah, they're shouting at the screen right now, is that person?
Yeah. Like, someone will know who I'm talking about. But she was on Hollyoaks, did really well, and now she's in Hollywood. Like, she's smashing it. Like, she's doing all of these, you know, Fast and Furious films, and then she's also done another film with Kevin Hart. Like, she's doing really well, like really well.
Big names there.
Yeah, I mean, I look at someone like her as like, that's my inspiration. Like, that's what I want to do.
Yeah,
I'm going to get on a series, I'm going to flourish there, build my image up, and then I'm going to take it to the US. So her path has been brilliant. There's another girl who I don't know personally now, but we knew each other because we went to the same school.
Right.
And we also had the same agent, and her name's Anna Schaffer.
Okay.
She was also on Hollyoaks, and she did the same as the other girl. She left, and now she's doing really amazing. She's taken her career to stage. She's gone to the US. She's doing lots of different things.
Did you know she was going to get there, or she was going to take that path? Was there certain traits that you see with somebody and say, she's definitely going to make it, I can see her on that trajectory? Or is it just purely about luck, being at the right place, right time, being seen by the right person?
To be honest, it's crazy because there's a lot of people out there that have broken to the industry that I didn't even know had a passion or an interest. I mean, when I saw her on the screens, I was like, oh my God, I didn't even know that she was an actress. So we went to the same school, but she was a couple of years above me. Yeah. And then I saw her at an audition and I was like, oh wow, like, you've done so well. And then we got talking, and I didn't even know that was her path, you know. I think Yeah, there's a lot of factors that come into it though. Yeah, it is about being in the right place at the right time. But again, coming back to mindset, it is everything. You know, being a serial networker is so important to getting opportunities. Because the thing is, you know, there are people that might not be the most talented, but they just have the right network to help get them there. So it really is about putting yourself out there, constantly hustling and networking, and yeah, believing in yourself. You know,
The hardest bit of believing in yourself, sometimes we look outwards than inwards.
yeah.
So we look for other people telling us how good we are, or giving us extra confidence to say, oh, Melly, you're amazing, like, you're wicked, like, and then you go, oh, I've had a good, like, dopamine hit there, and I can do this.
Yeah.
And then there will be somebody in your DMs who's going, who do you think you are? And your makeup's not on point. And then you're just like that can, like, hit you. But, like, you've just spoke about another actress, and you spoke about her in a good light. How much do you get support from other actors, actresses, models? You know, do you get a handout when somebody's got a contract and go, look, I've just got in here, looks like a really good place, they're looking for more people, I could recommend you, like, would you like to come through? Because that's what I like to do when I'm in the industry. I'm like, yeah, I've just had this person on my podcast. Yo, bro, do you want this person? Because we've got really friendly, and maybe they want their message out. Would you like them on your podcast? Helps the client, and it helps me, because if your podcast blows up, then the person's name's blown up, and then my podcast might come up as well. So that's the bigger picture, but not everybody sees it that way. What's it like behind the curtains?
It's really rife because there aren't enough people that are willing to help. It's really hard. I mean, I'm very lucky because I do have, and I'm very grateful, I have a great supportive network. But at the same time, it's a really cutthroat industry because a lot of people are kind of just out there for themselves. People get quite possessive over opportunities, over contacts. It's all kind of like me. But if you have that mindset, you're never going to attract anything else. You know, it's like you need to be that person that is putting out abundance in order to receive it. And I mean, I've got a friend who's helped me so much in my career. His name's called Darren Tassel. He's a great actor, and he's done so much for me. He's always helped put me in as many environments as possible. When he hears there's a role going, he'll always recommend me, and I'll always do the same for him, you know. And you know, and it's funny because I said to him, we're literally like Adam Sandler and is it Drew Barrymore? They're always working together and they're always in the same films. And I said to him, I was like, me and you keep appearing in like the same films. People are going to be like, these two are always together. It's hilarious. But he's literally like, he's kind of like a father figure. Like he's, you know, he's got an amazing, fresh approach to things. He's a really nice guy. And he also runs something called V Show Card. So for anyone that's watching, if you are an aspiring actor or actress, then you need to get on this platform. It's a little bit like Mandy.com, but Darren's really well connected and he helps a lot of people. But yeah, so it's hard because people are just out there for themselves, and it's really there's a lot of people that will also just take, and they'll never give back. And you'll know who those people are. Because you'll sense it and you'll see that, you know, people get opportunities and you think, oh, like, why didn't that person mention me? Or, you know, it's like there's a quote that says, you know, be friends or know someone that will mention you in a room full of opportunities. I'm saying it not as, you know, I'm not saying it the way that I want to say it, but it's true. Like, you know, you should know people that would mention your name in a room of opportunities, but people don't.
What keeps you believing in you?
What keeps me believing in me? Well, I do a lot of meditation and affirmations. Don't get me wrong, there's days when I don't believe in myself. It's really hard. Like sometimes you can get into your own head and it's really hard to shake off. And it's weird because it kind of strikes randomly and you don't always know why. It just happens. And it's really hard to get over it sometimes. Like,
how do you get through them days?
It's like, for example, imposter syndrome. For anyone that doesn't know what that is when you doubt yourself a lot, and you could be on a film project and feel like you shouldn't be there, or you'll question, like, why am I here? I'm not right for this, or I'm not good enough. And a lot of actors, even the most successful actors and actresses, have this problem. It's really hard. There's been times when I'm on set and I'm like, I've got this, I'm confident, that this is me. And then there's days when I'm like, I feel anxious and nervous, and I'm like, what's wrong with me? You question your choices a lot, and you're like, did I do that right? Did the crew think that was shit? It's ridiculous. Like, it's so detrimental. And everyone gets like that, I think. The only way to kind of overcome it is a lot of, because sometimes it's to do with what's in your subconscious. Like, maybe someone has said something to you, or you've had some sort of conditioning from something you've watched, or even just, a conversation you've had with someone. It's weird. It can like go in your subconscious and can affect you in a way you can't consciously control. The way I overcome it is through affirmations and meditation, targeting different things, whether that be anxiety or overthinking. There's some actually really good affirmations on YouTube for actors and actresses.
Wow.
Where you're saying things like, I believe in myself, I'm amazing, I'm a successful actor.
I love that.
Yeah, so that stuff helps a lot.
Because a lot of people feel like, that's woo-woo stuff what you're talking about now, but this is actually a thing. Like, even if you mention therapy to some people and they're like, what, do I look crazy to you? Do I look mad? It's not about that. It's like, as you've just said, there's certain hard drives and disk spaces that people have downloaded into your brain. Even like as parents, you can say, get down that wall because you're going to probably break a bone. And someone's instilled, you might only be something this high. And then that person's scared of heights all of a sudden because someone's instilled that belief.
Yeah.
And you need someone to really deep dive and say, look, that's where the barrier is right there. And how do we change that belief, into something that allows you to grow, So it's so important what you're saying there.
It really is important. But that's why they say that it's really important who you surround yourself with. If you surround yourself with people that are closed-minded, they're not open, or they're quite negative, and they don't really, see the flip side of things, that will affect how you see things. But it's really important to surround yourself with people that inspire you, or even people that you want to be like, being around those people is going to push you to get to where you want to be. If you're surrounded, they say you become most like, I think, the 3 people you're closest to, and that's why it's really important, like, who is your partner, or who is your best friend, or even your parents. Like, if you're around like your mother or your dad a lot, if you're spending a lot of time with that person and they have a negative outlook, that's going to affect you massively. So it's really important to like just put yourself in the right environments, because mindset is definitely everything. I've learned that. I've really learned that. So I used to be a negative person. So.
Wow. So you've made big change. Well, I think it's time, like, we really want to find out what made Melly, where did you grow up? What was you doing?
So, by the way, if I'm like talking too much, let me know, because I'm
going.
Like, when I get going, I don't bloody shut up.
I think that's what we want.
Probably send you to
we love
sleep.
it. We love it. As long as you give us all the juicy bits of the stories, then we're all good.
So where did I grow up? I hope everyone can hear me. I've been sat sprawled out. So I actually grew up near Finsbury Park. So I grew up near Finsbury Park with my parents, with my sister. But I've moved around a lot. It's like I've kind of been around North London a lot. I actually went to Cyprus for 2 seasons. I was working as a wedding planner out there.
Wow.
Now back in London.
How was it? How was it like living abroad?
Oh, it was amazing. I absolutely loved it. It was the best time of my life. I mean, if I could live in Cyprus, I would, but at the same time, it doesn't have the opportunities I'm looking for.
If you had passive income, like money coming into your bank account every single month, you've set a few businesses up, or it required you a couple of months of the year to come back to the UK to nip and tweak here, have a few meetings, make sure it's all running good, a few Skype meetings, would you live abroad, or is London for you?
Yeah, I would. It's hard because I'm quite a socialite, and whilst I would love to go away for the weather element, I mean, to live in Cyprus, the weather's incredible. The people are like family out there. I know so many people. And it really is like a home from home. But I'm such a sociable person. I'm always hustling. Like, I'm always at events. I'm always here. I'm always there. I could be asked to do a filming project in 2 days.
Yes.
If I'm abroad, it's kind of conflicting, and it's like, it's awkward. And that's why I feel like I'm always going to be like a London girl at heart. I mean, I know a lot of people move to maybe like Dubai or whatever. I mean, unless I'm moving somewhere like LA, somewhere where there's a lot of opportunities, I probably wouldn't move somewhere like Cyprus, because you've just always got to be on the hustle, like all the time. So.
Interesting. What was you like at school?
What was I like at school? Oh my God, a totally different person. Totally different person. So when I was at school, I went through a number of different phases. So I had loads of different, what's it called? Not, maybe images, maybe you can call it images. Loads of different images. I mean, I went through a chav phase, went through an emo phase. I went through like a kind of rocky phase. I was never really me at school. So weird. Like, I just had like an identity crisis. I like went through so many different phases of style, of music, of everything. But I wasn't I don't know, I was quite a doubting person. I didn't really have a lot of confidence. Like, I was quite I wouldn't say shy, because I was doing a lot as a kid. Like, I had like an agent, I was doing a lot of stuff, but I don't know, like I was quite, I don't know, I was kind of like, I don't know how to say it, like, not depressed, but I was very like, I never believed in myself. I didn't really have the right mindset. I wasn't like the popular kid at all. Like, literally, I never had a boyfriend at school. I thought I was never going to have a boyfriend at school. I was like that person that was just like, I don't know, I think I was a bit lost. I was quite lost at school.
Why do you think that is?
I don't know, really. See, the thing is, I went to a school in Highgate, and I felt sometimes I felt like I never belonged anywhere, because I was brought up on like a council estate, and a lot of my friends had money, and I was doing a lot of stuff at the time where, like, I don't know, like I was working on certain projects where there were a lot of affluent people that had a lot of money, that spoke differently. And then there was me, and I felt like I was kind of rough around the edges, with my voice. And it's weird, because when I was at school, I felt like no one really had my voice. I became really conscious of how I spoke. It was, you were either really hood or really posh, and then there was me. And then people didn't really know how to like take to that. It was weird. I think people felt like I jumped out of an Oliver Twist film. It was so weird. I became really conscious of like who I was and like where I was. Because even though I went through a number of different phases, I mean, I went through phases of being friends with people that had nothing, and then I went through phases of being friends with people that had a lot. But I think the biggest phase was being friends with the people that had a lot of money. And I remember I was doing a course with the National Youth Theatre, and everyone was very well spoken, and then there was me, and then I just felt like I was treated differently, or people looked at me differently, and I don't know, I became really self-conscious of who I was. And I felt like I wouldn't actually amount to anything, because I thought, I sound too I sound too rough, or I don't sound articulated enough. You know, it was weird. And what I'm saying is ridiculous, because, you know, you look at EastEnders and everyone is very North London kind of Cockney, and I'll speak to some people and they'll say, you sound very well spoken, you don't actually sound Cockney at all. Or some people say you sound like you're from Essex. It's so weird. And then when I went to Essex when I was younger, I was like, well, everyone sounds different here. You know, it's when you're a kid, it's weird. You live in this box and you don't really realise what the real world's like. And yeah, I don't know, it's weird.
What is Melly saying to young Melly now? So what would you say back to your younger self who's in school, who's having all these thoughts? You're looking back at her. What advice are you giving her?
I would say to the younger version of me, I would say just believe in yourself. And because I think there's a lot of kids that are probably going through this now, where they don't really know who they are. They might be subconscious of who they are, for whatever reason, I don't know. But I'd say to the younger self, just believe in yourself, never question who you are. You've got so much ahead of you. You know, school doesn't really mean anything, to be honest. I think for a lot of people, school's not really been a good chapter of their life, like, especially with people I've spoken to. You know, they've either been expelled or they got bullied or it just wasn't a good time for them. So, you know, it's just that chapter, you have to get past. Yeah.
I think you're absolutely right. You hit the button there, really, because today, like, you know, you're an actress, I might be a property developer, maybe a podcast host, and people see, oh, these guys are confident, you know, to sit down. Like, who can sit in front of a camera and just pretend the camera's not there and just be talking? We know we're going to be consistently, you know, we're being judged. You know, people, what did he say? What did she say? Why did she say it like that? We've got like cancel culture now as well, where people try to go all over you. But, you know, school for me as well was a very terrible place. You know, you wouldn't believe half of the stuff that went, especially in a boys' school. You know, the amount of fights you got into, you couldn't even take a piss without somebody spitting on the back of your head or punching you for no reason. You turn around, there's 4 guys on top of you or behind the mass block, or you say anything, you're dead. Like, you know, you think you're going to die every single day, whether that was true or not. But you saw blades, you saw, you know, growing up in East London, you know, and certain places in North London, stuff like, you know, you do get your bad areas. And, you know, I grew up in the, you know, sort of mid-90s in school and stuff. And, you know, it really does take your confidence away. It really does make you feel like you're nothing and you won't amount to anything, and you believe you're just that fat boy, or you know, you're nothing. And it's weird how we carry that luggage around for so long into our life, thinking we're that person. And even when, you know, for me, going into banking to even do a presentation of everyone, all you're thinking, do they think I'm fat? Because that's how you've always been seen. And it's, you know, such lovely words that you were saying there, you know, is believe in yourself. Like, you know, there are better things to come ahead. Don't let the thoughts of other people get put onto you. Because that's their thoughts. That's in their head. And whatever you want for yourself, you can really have that. You've just got to keep believing and chopping that tree down every day, because it's a journey, right?
Yeah, it really is. And it's scary because when you're a kid, you don't really see the end goal. You don't really see the path ahead. You're thinking about things that aren't really important. You're kind of like, when am I going to get my first boyfriend? When am I going to lose my virginity? When's that boy going to like me? Boys, girls. Like, you know, you're not really thinking about things that are actually important, like how to make money, how to feed your family, like how to do all these things. And there's a lot of things they don't teach you at school. They don't teach you about mindset. They don't teach you how to do tax returns or how to run a business. There's a lot of things they don't teach you. So, you know, it's hard.
So where do you learn that? Where do you learn about mindset, and where do you learn about, you know, educating yourself in terms of financial literacy? What can you do if you're a young person right now watching this? Like, where can you start looking?
So books, for me. I always loved reading. And
What sort of books?
I really love personal development books.
Any favorite authors or people that you like reading about that's really had an impact on you?
Yeah, so I would say, I mean, The Secret's a classic.
Well, I've heard that a couple of times now, so I think I better go.
Yeah, The Secret is a classic. So yeah, I've got I think her name's Rhonda Byrne or Burn, something like that. I don't know, but yeah, The Secret is massive. I would really recommend anyone to read that, and I'm actually really grateful because the thing is, when I was given that book, I was going through not really a great time, and it's actually given to me by a guy I used to see years ago, and the person I was then is so different to who I am now. My mindset, everything. I read this book and I was just like, oh my God, like it really does have an impact on you. And then I wanted to read more books, and there's loads of books that you can get. I think there's one called like The Art of Getting Rich, or The Science of Getting Rich. It's like if you go online and just put like personal development books, there's one called Good Vibes. I swear my brain's like a sieve these days. I can't remember anything. Good Vibes, Bad Vibes. I think it's Good Vibes, Bad Vibes. I mean, I think I've got it in my bag. Can I get it from my bag?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Let me see. I think I've got it in my bag. Because sometimes... Yes, I do, yeah.
There you
Sometimes it's just good to have a little read.
I hope this author's going to be giving you some sort of affiliate.
Affiliate commission right now. Yeah, so you've got Good Vibes. Oh, so that's it. Good Vibes, Good Life, yeah. So that's a really good book because it's quite realistic on things, because you can't be positive all the time. It's just not realistic. There's going to be things that upset you. There's going to be days when you wake up on the wrong side of the bed. Mm-hmm. I really like his take on it, because it's just... It's telling you it's okay to feel crap sometimes, but this is how you can overcome it. So that's a more kind of realistic take on it as well. But yeah, you know, if you don't like reading, YouTube, you know, there's loads of stuff on YouTube, personal development stuff. I personally follow a lot of like Bob Proctor stuff. There's loads of stuff. You've got Mel Robbins, you've got, you know, all these kind of like public speakers. You can watch and listen to their stuff. It's all like mindset coaching, isn't it?
Absolutely. What were some of your first like jobs?
Oh my God, first jobs. First jobs. Oh, actually, this is a funny one. So, I remember I really, one of my first ever jobs, so I'll go backwards before I jump ahead. One of my first jobs was actually working in a hairdresser's. I don't know why, but my dad had this obsession. He wanted me to be like this mobile hairdresser. So I thought, all right, just keep him quiet. Did a course in college, and then I went to work as a receptionist at hairdressers. I was doing that when I was young for a little while. But I was like always hungover. I was always hungover every time I went in there, you know. I was always out all the time. It didn't really last very long. So that was one of my first jobs. Then I was waitressing at like just kind of like a, don't know, like a diner type cafe. I remember I really wanted to work at River Island. Like, I don't know why. I just really wanted to work there. And it was really hard. I don't know why or how, but it was really hard getting a job in like River Island or Topshop. I don't know why. It just seemed that way at the time. And I literally like kept pestering the manager, kept going to Westfield to make sure I got this job. I was like, I need to get this job. So I literally went there every day and just like showed up in his shop. I was like, please, I want this job. I think at the time I didn't have a job, so I was like desperate. I was like, I need this job, and he eventually gave it to me. So yeah, I've done a lot of retail, done a lot of...
That also shows you the power of, you know, just trying to be consistent again.
Oh yeah, definitely.
You know,
definitely.
You could have seen that as failure. Oh, they've said, no, I can't show my face in that shop again because I'm going to be embarrassed because they said no to me. I look less in front of them, but you kept knocking on that door.
Yeah, this is it. I think I've always been really resilient. I don't like taking no for an answer. I am like a serial pest.
Why?
Like, I do annoy people because I'm like, I need to know why. Like, I am that person that, you know, if I want something, I will die until I get it.
Why?
Why? Why? I think it's because I think growing up, I felt as though I don't know if it's because when I was growing up, I think my dad was quite a negative person, and he kind of made us feel as though, you know, you're not just going to get things. Everything's really hard. Everything's really hard to achieve. You know, everyone's all hard done by, and you've got to be this person to get that, or you've got to have that money to get this. And I just kind of wanted to go against the grain. And I just thought, well, no, if you want something, you put your mind to it and you'll get it. And I suppose growing up, I mean, I didn't have as much as my friends had, like going back to what what I was saying, a lot of my friends had money. They lived in like these massive Victorian houses, and then there was me. Didn't have much, but my parents did as much as they could. And I was told no a lot as a kid. Like, you can't have those shoes. You can't have that tracksuit. Everything I have I paid for myself. All my friends had like the latest shoes. And I remember my dad bought me a pair of shoes and I got bullied for it. They were like, oh, what are these crappy shoes? They look like bricks. I was so embarrassed. And that was when I was working at the hairdressers. I was getting 25 quid a day. And I saved that up just to buy the things that I needed to fit in with, school. So because I kept being told no so much as a kid, I thought, I'm going to get what I want, and I did. I got the job, I got the money to buy the things that I wanted. If a job was going to say no to me, I'll find another one or I'll find out why. There was times when we'd go out and I was told, you can't eat that on the menu, it's too expensive. It was like there was a lot of no's because we didn't have a lot. So I wanted to make sure that, no, I'm going to give myself yeses. I think that's why, if that makes any sense. I was going to stage school, doing a load of classes, and then I got scouted by the woman that runs the agency. So she plucked me up, stuck me in there. And then I was doing all this stuff as a kid. I was constantly being pulled out of primary school, secondary. My mum was having countless meetings with the head teacher. It was a bit of a nightmare for her when I was growing up. But yeah, it was, it's crazy because I often look back and I think, wow, like I was so lucky to be in that position, to be going to loads of auditions and to be working on like, in big TV studios and be like doing all these things. But I took it for granted. And this is why when I did all that stuff, I actually took a break. So I was with them up until I think 18, 19. I left my agent as a kid and I took a massive break.
When did you start with the agent?
So I started with the agent, how old was I? I think I was probably about maybe 13.
Okay, so
maybe 12 or 13.
So 5-6 years, good 5-6 years.
Yeah, so, but I kind of, I was a bit of a brat and I was negative. And this is what I mean by you don't really realise how good you've got it sometimes. And I was in such a good position to really have continued to flourish there. But I was being a bit of a brat. I was like, I'm not getting the auditions I want. Or, they're not putting me up for this one thing that I told them I wanted to be put up for. And it was like, yeah, but you're getting auditions. It's an opportunity. And I didn't really see it like that. Like, you're just being given an opportunity. Be grateful, Like now, it's so hard just getting a casting, especially because everything's self-taped now. But I was getting in the room with big people a lot. I took it all for granted. But I think me leaving has had a better impact because I wasn't ready for all that anyway. I think you have to have the right mindset for this industry. And yes, I was going to a lot of auditions, but I was getting a lot of no's. And you have to be prepared for that. So me taking that break has made me a better person because, you know, I'm okay with the rejections. I'm okay with waiting, and, you know, and I'll take as much opportunity, you know. So it was meant to be, I think.
How long did you take a break for?
Well, it's like at the time I was, it was hard because I was working at the theatre at night time. I was still living at home. My parents wanted me to move out. I wasn't earning a lot of money. I was like, how the hell am I going to move out on this wage and then have all the flexibility in the world to go to, you know, these auditions? So, and then I thought, oh, I'm not getting anything anyway, or they're submitting me for a load of crap. I kind of just like had enough of it. I kind of lost it. And because my parents weren't really encouraging me anymore, it's like they thought the safe option is to go and get, you know, it was okay then, but now you're an adult, you know, maybe you've got to be safe. So that's when you know, I left and just started kind of grinding a normal job really, and then I found my way into event management. I found my passion there. But I came back full circle because it was the lockdown that made me realise this isn't even what I want to do. So,
how was the lifestyle different from when you were going to the BBC and auditions and different? There were already different days, no? Like different series that you're on, or a different day, you don't know what set you're going to be on, sort of thing, to then just going to a normal 9 to 5. Like, did you enjoy the structure or organization of what you were going to do every day and coasting, or did you enjoy the adventure? Like, you know, how did you balance the two? Like,
I think for me, it got to a point where I really just wanted to like earn money. I became really money driven, and I kind of started to abandon the dream because I was like, I want to learn how to drive a car. I want to be able to live on my own. Like, I wanted all these things and I just couldn't afford it at the time. Yeah, so I guess, yeah, that change, I adapted quite quickly because, again, it's the environment you're in. I reckon if I had family and friends telling me, like, no, like, you need to keep pursuing the dream, it would have drove me in a different direction. But at the time I was so money driven and I wanted to have more and be more than what my parents could give me. And I thought, yeah, I'll just do the normal traditional stuff, maybe have some kids. I think, yeah, the shift, it was... I guess it was hard at the time, but then I was doing jobs I enjoyed. And I also went travelling as well. I think what was also a massive impact is I had my first serious relationship. And that was a big distraction.
Okay.
So, you know, it was like when you're young, you make really stupid decisions and you're really naive. And all that matters is this person, you know? So that was my distraction, really. It didn't really matter what I was doing. It didn't matter if the job I was in I wasn't really happy about. I was with this guy, and that's all that mattered. But, you know, that went to pot, as they do. And then I just took off and went travelling for a few months. And then I came back and went into event management. So I don't really regret it. I had a good time with everything I've done. I've learned a lot. And I discovered another passion. But yeah, it was kind of not, it wasn't as glamorous, but I'd kind of just accepted that, oh, that was when I was a kid and it was good enough then, but it's not good enough now. And, oh, you know, when you become an adult, it becomes harder, and kind of just started thinking that way and just accepted it.
You touched on a really good point there in terms of relationships, and it can be easy just draw on a piece of paper to say, I'm starting here, I want to get there, I want to get there, I want to get there, I'll be consistent. But then this thing, like, we're not robots. There's a thing called life that happens to you, and you have relationships, and other people shape you. And in love, you do the most silliest, stupidest things, don't you?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
You know, and you know, there's certain people watching this who are thinking about, you know, they want a family, they want nice children, they want to live for somebody else as well and give that love aspect to them, you know. But then how important is it to choose the right partner? Because sometimes we do think this person's perfect. Even other people will say red flag, red flag, red flag. You're like, no, you just don't know them like I know them. And then when that person, after even years of being with them, pulls the plug on you and you're just left in what? How could you do that to me?
Yeah.
You know, and you have to almost like re-find yourself and even do things like new experiences to keep yourself, one, distracted, and two, saying, look, I need to fill this void and try go and find the whole world now, because you've stopped me from doing that all these years, and I've stopped my life for you, you know. Like, what would you say to somebody, you know, in terms of like, you know, finding the right partner or when to take things serious?
I would say it's really important that you find someone that elevates you, that supports what you want to do. The last thing you want is for someone to knock you off, stop your focus. A lot of people have a goal, they get momentum, and then they meet someone, and then they become so consumed with that they just stop what they're doing. Maybe because their partner was jealous, or they spent too much time not in the relationship because they're too busy focusing on their goals. If that's how someone thinks, they're just not for you. You know, you need to be with someone where you can grow together and elevate each other. You know, that person's supposed to bring out the best in you. It's like, I've been with my partner for 7+ years, and you know, we've traveled a long journey together. Like, he's seen who I was and who I've become. Like, he met me when I was it's funny actually, because when I met him, I was just a wedding planner. I wasn't even pursuing the acting anymore. But then we kind of went on this journey together, and then he's seen everything I've achieved, and he supports it all, and he gets it and he understands it. And it's the same with him. Like, he's in the creative industry. I'll always push him and make him go after things. And, you know, you have to have an understanding of each other. It's hard in this industry because people get very jealous, and, you know, you have to put yourself out there a lot. You have to go to events and talk to people. Some people's partners don't like that. Oh, why are you talking to him for? Oh, he looks like he likes you. Or, you know, you've got to put all that stuff to bed. If you want someone to succeed, just support them, you know.
So I'm gonna ask you a question now. So, like, you know, obviously you're in the actress industry, and you've got to get on a set, and they go, look, Melly, we've got a really big part for you. You're going to be talking loads. You're going to be in that scene. A lot of eyes are going to be with you, be on you. But there's a scene where you need to get in bed with somebody. You know, you got to be half your clothes off, and you're in bed, and you got to be smooching and all of that. And if it's really, really big thinking, you can say, well, it's work and it's what I've got to do for this task, for this film set. But then also at the same time, you know, I could be somebody who really loves you and really cares about you, and I don't want to share you with anybody. And there's that integrity to say, you know, I don't want to hold you back, but I couldn't bear to see that. Like, where does this come into it? What are your thoughts, your feeling, your partner's feelings? You must have spoke about it to each other. I want to hear about this topic.
Oh yeah, like, he knows that there's going to be a time when that happens. I mean, I've done a scene with a woman, but not a man.
Oh, wow.
You know, I'm sure that was okay. but the thing is, he knows there's going to be a time when that happens. Like, he has to appreciate that. You know, we're professional storytellers, and, you know, there's going to be things that you know, he might not feel comfortable with, but then it's the art of what we're doing. You know, we're telling a story, and you have to be willing to cross those boundaries to tell the story properly. And the thing is, it's awkward because what people don't realise is when you're doing these scenes of intimacy, they're really uncomfortable. I mean, it might look like you're enjoying it, but it's really awkward. I mean, you've got however many people on set watching. I mean, okay, they'll do a closed set. And a closed set, for anyone that doesn't know, is when they send loads of people off set, and you just do the scene where you've got maybe just the director, the lighting, the audio. So they'll have very minimal people on set, but there's still like 4 or 5 people watching. And it is awkward, you know, and it's hard for male actors because they get into situations where they can actually get aroused. I've spoken to so many male actors about this, and they're like, oh, it's awful. Like, you don't mean to, but the male anatomy just says otherwise. It's really awkward and embarrassing for a lot of male actors to do those scenes. But it's not, it's not as, comfortable as people think it is when they see it on the screen. They think, oh yeah, that looks brilliant, but there's like however many eyes watching, and you're under like a really hot light, and there's a lens however close, and so yeah, I mean, it's always going to be a bit weird for other people's partners to see their partner in that moment, but it's just acting. It's just acting. It's a job. You're getting paid to do it. You're just telling a story, so you've just got to have the right mindset with it.
Sure. What about in terms of like, getting your kit off?
Oh, well, I mean, I guess some actors will do certain things. I mean, I've got my levels. There's certain things I wouldn't do. I don't think I would go full starkers. I don't think I would do that. I mean, I'd feel massively uncomfortable. There's some things, implied is okay. I did some glamour modelling before, so it's like, I don't mind like underwear and things. But yeah, I mean, if my family are going to watch that, it's going to make me feel massively uncomfortable. So yeah, no way. I mean, I've been asked to do something before, like an erotic thriller. I said no, because it was like a lot of kind of like, exposing of like the breasts and maybe some implied. I was like, no, it's just not for me. So yeah.
See, I even feel comfortable talking about this because my parents watched the podcast and they were like, Sean, what the hell are you asking there? Like, what do you want to know that for? I'm like, what, viewers want to know these,
Yeah, of
when
course.
You're sitting with an actress or an actor, you want to ask this, like, what are you thinking? What's going through your head? And even if it's something different to what we're thinking and you're going, I'm okay with that, well, I want to know why you're okay with it, because maybe I'm being very closed-minded and thinking about it in a very different way. And people can call you certain names and go, she's this, she's that, because she does that on camera. But that doesn't mean anything. This is it's an art as well,
Yeah, this is it. I mean, you look at Margot Robbie. I mean, my God, like, she's stunning. And Wolf of Wall Street, I mean, she's basically naked, tits out the lot, But she's done really well for her career, but she's also really graceful in what she does, and she's very talented, and I think people can appreciate that. I mean, I think, as you evolve as an actor, I think you kind of go to different places the more you progress. So I could sit here now and say, I don't know if I would do that. But then I might, just because it might be, not that I want to throw my clothes off and have the whole world see me starkers. Like, I'm not saying, I mean, that's a bit too much for me, but I'm just saying there's certain things I might sit here and say, no, I wouldn't do that. But then I could get to a point in my career where I'm like, yeah, you know what, whatever. Like, I'm going to be a raisin one day, sod it. Like, I mean, might as well just commit to the cause in full. But,
you got someone like Kerry Katona. And she was in a girl band, and then she's hit high highs. I think she married somebody from Boyzone as well, and then all of a sudden, she's gone quiet. She said, look, I've gone bankrupt, this, and then she's opened up her OnlyFans, and now she's like, I'm making X amount, my mortgage is all paid for, money's rolling in, and I've just got to do what I've got to do. Like, I don't care. You're not paying my bills.
Yeah.
How important is sort of like the money aspect in terms of a role? So like, you'll say, I'm not going to do that, and somebody goes, there's $1 million check there. And ooh, that'd be nice. That would get me a really nice house, car, lifestyle. Like, where's the trade-off?
Where's the trade-off? I think for me, you've got to be really passionate about something to not just see the money element of it. It's like, yes, money. We all want money. We all have, bills to pay, and we need to eat. But for me, the money aspect, it's not really what I'm chasing. Which sounds really weird. I mean, yeah, look, I mean, I love Jim Carrey's theory of when he wrote himself a check for $1 million and then he manifested that. That's brilliant. Don't get me wrong. I want to be there as well. But for me, just doing acting as an art form, I just love it. I just love being a different person. I love just being able to take on a totally different person's life that isn't me. I have a lot of fun with it. So yeah, for me, money's not everything anyway. It's not. You've got to be passionate about what you do and be able to have fun with it. Otherwise, what's the point? So for me, yeah, money is not really a factor. It's not a driving force,
Melly, what sort of actress are you? What are your sort of certain roles and types that you like playing or want to be a part of?
So I really love playing the strong alpha kind of characters. I really like playing the characters that are very kind of like dominating. Sounds bad, but I do love playing a villain. It's just fun. I mean, okay, yeah, girl next door would be nice, but it's like, you know what I mean? The villain is just fun. It's calculating, and and people don't know what's coming, and it's just fun. I don't know, I think a lot of actors would agree it's always fun when you play the bad guy. So those are definitely my favourite roles. The ones that are kind of very impactful. And it's like someone said to me, if you could be in a Disney film, what Disney film would it be? And I would be Maleficent in Sleeping Beauty, and look at Angelina Jolie, she pulled that off amazingly. So that for me is like the kind of...
Got a bit of an Angelina look to you, actually.
Oh, thanks, I'll take that.
Especially when you brought that film up. But it's weird you say that, actually. Like, you think it might be quite normal, but I always hear people say, I want to be the good guy, I want to be the main actor, I want to be the star. And then you hear about the villain, like, could be someone really nice, but people in real life start hating you because they're like, I hated you because you did that and you played that. But that means you've actually done your job properly.
Oh my God, yeah. It's really scary. Like, you could be the villain in a soap and then like you'll get people in the street being like, oh, you know, this and that. And sometimes you'll be watching something and be like, why did you do that? And you're like, hang on, it's a film, it's not even real. But it's, that's the art of professional storytelling, is you want to impact how people feel. You want a reaction. Like, you've done your job, like you've been realistic enough to trick people into believing what you're doing is real life. So it is worrying. Like, it's not worrying, but yeah, it can be a bit of a concern where you could take on a role and it can kind of take you as a person. It's like there's people that take on racist roles, and then they can get a lot of problems with that in real life because that person doesn't know who that person is, like, they don't know anything about them, they're just seeing that person on the screen. So it is hard sometimes, like it's a risky boundary, but this is why I think it's good to kind of take a mix of roles. Like for me, yes, I like the bad roles, but I would like to kind of mix it up with the good roles just to remind people that I'm not really like that. So you've got to keep the balance, I think.
Do you ever think to yourself that you like playing the bad role because of things in your past, like maybe getting a little bit bullied for certain things or being a certain way, and you might want to be in control for once or something like that?
You know what? It's a really good point, but yeah, I think that is probably I think that's a really good way of looking at it, potentially, because I guess the person I was as a kid wasn't this this strong person that could dominate a group of people or have an impact on people. So or to be the person that was listened to. So yeah, I think potentially that might be why I like those characters, because it kind of makes me feel like I can be this person I wasn't, maybe. I don't know, actually. I do just feel like they're just more, I just feel like you're more kind of grit. This is what I mean. It's like when you're the bad person, everyone knows who the bad guy is. everyone's maybe scared of the bad guy. Everyone wants to know what the bad person's doing. It's like, it just seems like there's more focus. I don't know. It's more kind of excitement from an audience, like the anticipation of what is this person going to do next. Like, I just feel like you reel people in more when you're that person, like when you're that character. So
it seems like you do things, Melly, like in terms of for like your viewer. It's like you want to, and it's like with everything in life, do you know what I mean? Like a lot of people want what do I like, but a lot of what you're saying is, I'd like to do this because the viewer would like this. Like, and if you know how the viewer are consuming you, then you can do you can be really successful yourself because you're giving people what they want. Like for example, like totally different industry, but I'm in finance. And I've been in banking, I've been a builder and stuff. But it's like when I was in the bank, I was counting money. I was like, what do they want? They want me to bank their money, so I'll do that. What else do they want? They want to save money and they want to make more money. So how do I know that? So then I'll educate myself and go, oh, if I tell them about this special rate and I've seen they've got this certain product, I can save them money, then of course they're going to say yeah. So the art was like, how do I impress this person? When I was a builder, it's like, well, what do they want? Well, they want a lovely kitchen. Well, how can I make it better? Well, I'll put LED lights underneath the drawers and I'll put this quirky little splashback or something see-through. And if I show them that design, they won't even mind paying me more. But it's all about them all the time. And it's the way, like you're saying through your art, is like, well, if I play this person and I do it really well, then everybody loves a bit of that, don't they?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I see TV and films are kind of like therapy for some people. They'll look to that stuff to be like, I've been in that situation. How do I get out of it? It's like you look at a lot of storylines in soaps. They might be around, various different topics whether it's drug abuse or I don't know, maybe they've got some mental health problems with their weight and stuff like that. And they're really like sensitive topics, but they could also be topics that can really help people get that person out of a dark place. And I think that's one of my goals. That is one of my goals. Like, whilst I say that I want to do all the bad roles, I also want to be that person that can also provide a solution to someone's problems. So it's like if I'm doing a role where there's a viewer at home and they're like, oh my God, that was me. I had bulimia or whatever it was. And it's kind of reminding them of the journey they went on, but I helped them get out of that. Like, I provided a solution. I helped, kind of educate that person on how they can help themselves. And for me, I'd feel like I'm really giving back. Like I feel like I'm giving value. It's like, we can all dance about on a screen and be a character, but when you're actually providing value, it becomes more rewarding, I think.
Definitely. I love that because in a way you're really helping people as well through your acting and how they're feeling, and you could really pick somebody up from what they're seeing. That's really beautiful. What I wanted to ask, Melly, is you mentioned something about bulimia and something about body conditions and stuff. There's a lot of stuff in the media right now, and things are getting really, really confusing. Really confusing. And I don't know, there's certain things you can say, there's certain things you can't say. At workplaces, I could easily call someone babe. All right, babe, can you sort that out for me, babe? And then somebody could say to me, and that's like saying hello, like for me, because I'm just, that's how I talk. I'm from East London. I'm just walking to up there, around there, apples and pears, whatever. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's where we talk. And I could say that that word again, like, could you just quickly just sort that out for me, please, babe? Like, just mean it in a very nice, comfortable way. And then they'll say, I've told you not to call me that. The next minute, you've been called into the office, and now they're like, right, you've been investigated and you're on strike one. You've just called somebody certain thing. They don't like it to be identified, or that pronoun, it's not good what you've used for them. And all of a sudden, that person's against you, that person's against you. And you're like, hang on, I haven't been vindictive here. I thought I was being really nice, and now I've been shot down. Now you're ready to demotivating me. Now I'm not feeling really good. Like, what do you make out of all of this stuff? Like he, she, shim, like, pronouns, like what is it?
it's hard because it's become such a sensitive topic now, and you don't really know what to say sometimes, you know. It's one of those things where I think everyone in their own right should be able to identify as whatever they want. I mean, personally, my opinions, sometimes I don't understand it, you know, like sometimes I don't, but then I'm like, but who am I to understand it? Because there's obviously a reason you feel like that. And you know, it's not my business to try and understand that. If that's who you want to be and if that's how you want to identify, that's entirely up to you. You know, like society will tell us things that we're so used to hearing because it's what society's confinements are. But what is the right answer? Like, what is society? Like, what is anything? You know, it's like, why just because this person said that or because a book said that, why does it make it right? We should all be able to think and feel and say and do whatever we want. Just because we've created ideologies doesn't mean they're true. What's really the truth, you know?
It's true.
So, you know, it's hard because, you know, in an environment like, you know, what you were saying about if you're in a work environment and stuff, and it has become a bit more complicated now. But I don't know. I mean, I think, do you know what? I would love to actually have a conversation with someone about it because I don't actually know like where this has all come from. Like it's all just become a major thing now.
Didn't it just like in the last 3-4 years, it's just went vroom. All of a sudden it's like, so many things have come about.
Mad. It's mad because I've got opinions, you've got opinions, but what's my opinion? You know what I mean? Like, my opinion doesn't mean anything. Like, I'm allowed to think and feel whatever I want. So are you and whoever else. But I would love to actually have a conversation with someone who, you know, if they want to identify as a toaster, okay, I don't understand it, but that's fine. I respect that's how you feel, and who am I to tell you that you can't be that? Do you know what I mean?
Sure.
But I would actually love to have a conversation with someone and ask them why, because I don't know where it's all come from. It's all become a thing now, and I don't really get it. But you know, I'll never trample on someone's beliefs. You know, like at the end of the day, it's freedom of speech, and if that's how you think and feel, that's entirely up to you. So.
Do what you want. You know, what makes you happy is not, as long as you're not disturbing me. Like in terms of getting in my personal space, then do what you want as long as you're a good person, right?
Yeah,
that's the main thing.
Yeah.
Has the sets changed at all? Because I've been on a few sets as well. I've done little extra work, you know, when you do like Mad Dog and them sort of little things. Like I did that for a little period where I was a little bit free, and I was like, I'll sign up to a few agencies, and then they were just like, oh, brown boy, Asian, and I knew it. Like that's the only reason I got the parts. Like I'd go in there and it's like everyone else is like white. And I'm the only Asian guy, and then there's maybe one other coloured guy there as well, and they're like, all right, they've done a tick exercise, and they were like, oh yeah, you can stand over there and we can have that. And so you could feel that I'm not in the main shot, but you might blur me out just to tick your, we've got the diversity in there. In shots now, have you seen like, you know, like, I don't know, a man identifying as a woman now, or transgender, or that sort of like behind the scenes or anything like that now? Or
to be honest, no. I mean, I can't say that I've worked with anyone, or maybe not knowingly. I can't say that I've worked with anyone that's identified as something else or as a transgender. So I know it's become quite a focus, but I can't say that I've not really been on set with someone like that at all, to be honest. So I don't know. I don't know. It's weird because a lot of people do say it's kind of changed the industry, but I don't really feel like it has in my experience. It's not really changed anything for me. You know, I've not really been in an environment where it's felt different or anyone's looked different. It's kind of just been normal for me. So
It's brought me on to another sort of topic in terms of like being cancelled or being blacklisted. Because you get that, like you can get some really, really big actors and they've said stuff on big platforms and all of a sudden they've been sort of not being picked for the next movies. Normally it's more about how directors have abused their positions and, you know, they haven't been treated fairly, or there's certain actors that even go that deep to say we've been passed around, like, you know. What do you think of that blacklisted cancel culture sort of thing? The things that go behind the scenes that not a lot of people look at. Like, I don't even know if you've ever felt that a director has approached you and said, you know, without saying any names, that say, yeah, I'd like you to be on this show, but could we go for a little meal, darling? You know, can we, you know?
To be honest, I'm quite strong-headed. I feel like I'm very good at kind of handling situations and stuff, but I've not really been in that position. Like a lot, you know, there's a lot of people that have been in really bad positions, you know, growing up, and it's really affected them now.
Any of your friends or any friend actors or anyone else who's been in a difficult position that you've heard a story?
Yeah, I mean, without saying names, you know, there's someone that's quite, you know, notable in the industry that's had a really tough time growing up, you know, being groomed and stuff like that, and it's really affected the person they are now. And it's hard because there's a lot of people that are abusing their position to kind of lure people in and stuff. It's not right, but I think now, since that film came out, She Said, it was about if you haven't seen it, it's all about the Harvey Weinstein scandals, and people started speaking out. I think now it's kind of like it's watering it down a lot more, in a sense that like the predators aren't so much at large because people are more wanting to speak out and wanting to like take a stand and say something. Whereas before, I think it's been such a taboo subject, no one's really been open enough.
But what about even right now in the news, they're talking about Hugh Edwards. You know,
Hugh Edwards, God,
you know,
do you know it's really bad? I don't really watch TV anymore. I'm more of a film buffer.
He's the one that's done 30 years of the BBC as the news presenter. You'll probably know him if you saw him.
Oh, is it the grey-haired guy?
Yeah,
that was with Holly Willoughby. Are you talking about him?
No, that's Philip Schofield.
Oh, okay, right.
So there was
Sorry,
Philip Schofield came out.
Yeah,
and they were all over him. And then now the newsreader on BBC who announced the Queen's death.
Yeah,
he was the actual guy who announced her death. So he was 30 plus years in that industry. A lot of people, even like Piers Morgan, said we knew him, and he was never no one's actually even spoke about him in a bad light, but he's been caught with his trousers down, sending images to a 17-year-old, and then there's a £35,000 check that's passed hands, and that person sort of flagged it up. Now, I think over 16, you're old enough as well. But then where do you sort of draw the line when you're a 60-plus-year-old man in a power of position and money, and you're trying to, you know, be almost like a predator to a young child, and things like this is coming out? Like, what do you think of that?
It's mad. It really is mad. It's unfortunate because, I mean, yeah, there's a lot, you know, you've got Me Too movement and all this stuff, but unfortunately, there's always going to be this stuff, you know, it's always going to be about, you know, it's like you could be working with people that could be that way and you wouldn't even know. It's awful, but you've kind of just got to have your wits about you, and you've kind of just got to look out for signs and be a strong person in that if something makes you feel uncomfortable, voice it. But yeah, I mean, it's mad when I think now more things are kind of coming out since that scandal to do with, what's that old guy that,
Jeffrey Epstein, that one?
No, the other one, he was like a presenter.
Schofield?
No, he's dead now.
Savile.
Yeah.
Jimmy.
Yeah, Jimmy. So it's like he was really well connected, and it's crazy because unfortunately a lot of these dodgy people, they roam in high places.
A lot of people saying BBC is like a big firm, and a lot of them are coming out of the BBC. There's a lot of people in power and they all know about it. And there's other presenters who will come out and go, yeah, I knew it was always like that. All right, well, it's great you've spoken up now. But what happened at the time when people were getting abused? Then you didn't want to be cancelled at that stage. Now everyone else talking about it. Now you can talk about it. Eamon Holmes, I think, was talking about it. And people actually want the BBC to be axed.
Yeah, it's mad. There's so many stories, There are so many stories. I mean, luckily, the stuff I did as a kid, I was never affected. I never had any bad things happen. It's mad because I feel like this sort of stuff, it happens everywhere. And it happens in the highest of places, in places that you think it wouldn't, it does. And I think a lot of people are so scared now of, crushing their own career. It's bad, but I think a lot of people are like, especially because when these people roam in high places, they have a lot of influence, and that's why people get so scared sometimes. But I don't know. I mean, who really knows, to be honest? That's why, there's a lot of things that go down in like Hollywood and stuff like that. There's you hear so many stories, there's no doubt about it, but you've just got to be really savvy, I think. You just got to really look out for yourself. I mean, the only kind of situation I've been in that made me feel uncomfortable was when I had a sound guy be really inappropriate with me. When he was micing me up, it's hard because when you're working in sound, you have to sometimes put the mic here or it's a clip on the back here. But, if you're a good sound guy, you always qualify with the person. Are you okay if I do this or that, or do you want to do it yourself? This guy just wasn't like that. He just kept finding every opportunity to try and touch me in like really uncomfortable places. Like I was wearing a dress and he would, try and make a reason to like put his hand up there, and I was like, no, I'll do it myself, and it got really awkward, and then I felt really and then sometimes you question yourself, you're like, oh, like, am I overthinking this? Am I making a really bad judgment or something that's totally innocent? But that's why it's really important you talk to people, because as soon as I felt uncomfortable, I told producer, I spoke to other people, and then they were having the same experiences. So I think it's really important that if you're ever in that situation, you need to talk to people. Someone else could have just felt just as bad as you, and then it's been flagged as well. Yeah, it's messed up. I mean, there's a lot of bloody weirdos, unfortunately, in every industry, down to music, to everything. Unfortunately, there's not really a lot you can do. You just got to try and, not fall victim to it yourself, really, as well.
Yes. So I've realised we're very short on time now.
Yes, I could
talk to you all day long, but you've revived your sort of career back into acting. Just in a few minutes, like, how's that all come about and what's coming?
Oh my God. Well, yes, I've got so many films in post-production at the moment. So it's only really been the last 2 years that I relaunched my acting career. But I've got loads of exciting stuff come out. So I've got a pilot series coming out next year called Burning Hands. It's basically, think of like Blue Story and Top Boy. It's kind of got some edge to it. It's about London gangs. It's going to be a really good watch, guys. It's basically about an English teacher that reforms his life, but then his past comes back for him and changes everything. So that's good. Obviously, I've got my little feature, Rise of the Foot Soldiers, coming out. I've also got a film coming out next year where I play the lead. There's loads of stuff. I'll be putting it all on my socials when that is put out there. So
that's really amazing. Like, I didn't even know half of all of that stuff. If there's one message you're giving Melly, what is that message?
My message is be the person that tries to help other people, but also be really smart. Look out for the vipers, look out for the people that are trying to bleed you dry. But for the people that help you, keep them close and help them return the favour. Don't be that person that just takes. Always look to help that person, whatever it is, whether it's, it's a business acquisition or if it's an opportunity, where your friend got you a gig on set or whatever, like always remember these things and always aim to give back to that person. Don't be that person that just like takes everything and doesn't give back.
I love that. And finally, do you have any questions for me?
No, I don't think I do, other than have I spoken too much?
No, yeah, been absolutely brilliant. I think for a podcast host, for somebody who comes on who has something to say is really important. There's nothing worse than me going question after question after question, and you're just going, yeah, no, I think this. Ask me the next question. You've really made it a real pleasure, to have you on a podcast, and definitely no regrets. And like, I hope we could keep a little bit in touch. Any other opportunities that arise as we're growing, you never know, where we can re-collaborate. And already I've seen your good energy, because you've already recommended somebody else to come on the podcast, and we're already speaking to that guest. And it's just amazing. Like the second person I saw with her, it was Tom Hardy. I was like, oh, that's a bloody good guess. No one really does that. They're like, yeah, I'm going to get myself on, see you later. But it's really nice. And that says a lot about you, like more than like, because sometimes you can speak to somebody and people go, well, what was that guest like? And you've got someone really speaking like flowers about you and going, really good, really conversational, really engaging. It was a real pleasure. I probably would have him again if I had two, three other people in the same room. It would make a really good conversation. I'd really pick that person. And on top of that, they referred somebody else. It's like, wow, it makes our life so much easier. And I think that's so important, because you can say whatever you want, but what you really believe is when you see it, and when you already see it from a person, go, look, Sean, look, I like what your show's about. I like the message you're trying to give. If this would be a really good person, you just think, for you, that might be a passing comment. For me, it's like, wow, that was so nice. Like, it means a lot, honestly. But Melly, look, you've been a real pleasure. If you could look straight into your camera and just let everybody know how they can follow you and what your best platforms are.
Great. So you can find me on Instagram as Melly_Myers_. That's 2 L's and 1 Y.
There we go, guys. I hope you really enjoyed that episode. I know I did. It's a bit of a different conversation. We spoke a little bit about fashion, traveling. We've looked at, the acting industry, what it takes to become an actor, the mindset, the resilience. And come on, like, you've got to say that's real value, because you can't always just talk about business or, what's the next place to make money. If you're wanting to do something creative, yes, there's something, there for you. Even if your parents say that's not for you and that's not secure enough, you've just got to remember you're in charge of your destiny. If you really want it, you can really make it, but you have to believe it, and you've got to take action on the back of it. So I hope you really liked that episode. Don't forget to subscribe. Leave Melly a comment. I'll make sure she'll get it and answer it. Share this with somebody, friends, family, help inspire, everybody around you. And I'll see you on the next one. Peace.